3 weeks after a tornado rips through parts of Montague County, the cleanup slowly but surely continues. I'm Mechell Dixon, and I'll have more on that story. After making his purchase, Mr. George came out of the store, and that's when a strong gust of wind took his ticket right out of his hand. This building is being demolished, and I found that's moving some former employees from here to tears. This white area behind me was graffiti, but as you can see, crews have painted over it. But graffiti removal isn't the only thing TxDOT and city crews are doing to make the area a lot more appealing for the upcoming Hutter and Hale 100. The Burke-Burnett Police Department has computers and vehicle cameras to help make their jobs easier as well as safer. But thanks to 2 grants and a trade, they're getting even newer technology that will take their crime-fighting efforts to another level. The cause of this morning's apartment fire remains under investigation, as well as the amount of damage the blaze caused. But we do know that tonight, that fire is forcing 11 families to find a new place to sleep.
I need to get my...
What started as a 1-alarm fire ended up being a 3-alarm blaze. The fire crews battled flames at the Woodlands Apartments, leaving residents to stand by, watching, waiting, and hoping.
It's painful, especially seeing all the little kids sitting out here and all their stuff burning.
But it was also tough for Cameron Robertson and other adults who live here.
I smelled the smoke. It woke me up, and I went and woke up my wife and son. We ran outside, and there was smoke everywhere. No shoes on. Just threw on some clothes real quick, and that's all we got left.
Many of these residents got to safety because of this man. Alan Little says he was driving by, saw smoke, drove inside the complex, and started knocking on doors to warn residents.
There were a couple of people we had to assist out, and a lot of pets that we went back for, and it just happened so fast with the smoke and the fire. It just took over. Then the fire department came.
Fire crews waged war with flames that spread throughout the attic of this apartment building.
We made an attempt at an interior attack for about 5 minutes. And then the fire broke through the roof, and the roof started collapsing. That's when we pulled everybody out of the building and went to a defensive attack.
Although firefighters encountered a few close calls, fire officials say no crew members or residents were injured. And they say all pets made it out safely, including this cat that was found hiding in a closet. The American Red Cross is helping at least 1 family with food and clothing tonight, but not shelter, because officials say most of the fire victims were either staying with relatives or they're moving into other apartments owned by the Woodlands. Now, the T-38 went down in a very heavily wooded area, and it's actually not far from where I'm standing. I'm going to step to the side, and you can actually see a piece of the wing sticking up. Now, 2 pilots were on that jet, an instructor and a student, and both are amazingly okay. Now, the jet was destroyed, and now officials are going through the tedious task of trying to find out what caused that crash. Before rescue crews arrived at the site of the military jet crash in East Wichita County, some already knew something terrible had happened.
My chief deputy and I were actually at the impact center, and we observed a big black plume of smoke, the indicator of either explosion or something had just occurred.
What occurred just before 7 a.m. was the crash of a T-38 Talon jet near Horton Road. Amateur video shows black smoke billowing from a wooded area. Officials say the student pilot and instructor pilot on board both ejected before the jet crashed. Wichita County Sheriff's officials were the first on scene.
We got in the back of this property and found the first pilot. He was in a he was okay. He had parachuted out of his jet, and he was in a dry stock tank.
Duke says the second pilot actually got hung up in trees.
Fell through the trees to get down or trying to get out of it. He was covered with jet fuel, but they were getting from the crash and their ejection and coming down through it in the fire. He made a comment that he was involved with fire in the fireball when we went through it. He had some minor burns, obviously, on his face and neck.
Duke says first responders had the task of finding the pilots and getting them to safety. Then Shepherd crews rolled in and started processing the scene. According to Sheriff Duke, one of the pilots said their plane had flown through a flock of birds just before the crash, but Shepherd officials say they haven't confirmed that yet.
So it's too early to determine or make any speculation of what the cause may be, but we'll convene a safety investigation board and they'll be looking into it in detail.
It's a process that's expected to take several weeks, and during that time, officials will be on site recovering all pieces of the jet to piece together what caused this crash. Well, the student pilot is identified as German Lieutenant Julius Dressbach. He was taken to United Regional for further evaluation. The instructor is Major Christopher Thompson with the 97th Flying Training Reserve Squadron. Now, he was treated at the scene and released to Shepherd's flight medical staff for further evaluation. As for the crash site here, we're told that officials say anyone who comes to the scene and tries to get beyond this gate will not be able to do so. Only people with proper authorization. So they warn, if you come just to try to catch a peek of the crash site, you will be arrested. 15 Texoma volunteers worked hard at this site, which used to be the home of 88-year-old Jean Lash. Lash is a World War II Army veteran, a Battle of the Bulge survivor, and a Purple Heart recipient. But on May 20th, an EF5 tornado tore through Moore, Oklahoma, killing 24 people and damaging or destroying homes, including Lash's.
The tears have sort of stopped, and we realized that we have to salvage what we could.
Who is that? Is that Mommy and Matt?
Pictures, mementos, even her father's army hat. And much of it was found by these volunteers, whose ages range from 73 to 14.
Pretty dirty. It's not glamorous, that's for sure. It's really hard work and sweaty and yucky, but it'll all pay off.
I'll throw them to you. You can load them.
During much of this project, Bailey worked beside her grandmother, a survivor of the 1979 tornado in Wichita Falls. Janice Voiles was pregnant at the time and couldn't help with the salvage or the cleanup, so she's helping now.
I'm not supposed to be out in the sun very much because I do have some skin cancer. But I keep sunblock on and a hat and pants and stuff, so I'm okay.
Volunteers are doing more than just helping the Lash family clean up debris and devastation left by the tornado. They say that they're actually helping that family restore dignity.
Yep, this is the garage door track.
The Reverend Hupp, who coordinated this cleanup, says Lash told her gawkers see the embarrassing side caused by the tornado.
And she said, our underwear's laying out there. You know, our whole life is laying out there, and you're looking in a house where, you know, we call our home our sacred place.
But soon, this pile of debris will be gone, and Lash is grateful.
We get so worn out physically sometimes we don't have time to take care of our emotional needs. A little extra sleep and a little extra rest is greatly appreciated, and to have people come in from out of state who don't know us, it's very heartwarming and very awesome.
Let's try to get something off of that, maybe pick it up.
In Moore, Oklahoma, Mechell Dixon, KFDX 3 News.